Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled Old Man Ignores Me, an employee, for random guy. I work at Walmart. Unfortunately. And as most others do, I wear my blue vest with my name tag. I was working some freight and I look over to see an old dude try to stop some random guy in a blue shirt for help. Dude just keeps walking because he doesn't work here. Old man gets frustrated, saying something like, "No employees ever want to do their job anymore." I was standing right there. I say, "Sir, I don't think that gentleman works here. Can I help you?" That seemed to make him a little more frustrated, but he held that frustration in. Good for me. The next story is titled Lady Mistakes Me for an Employee, Gets Upset When I Explain I'm Not. I work for a large financial company. I like to wear suits even though we can do business casual. We have, unfortunately, had to start going back into the office, luckily not every day. So to the I don't work here lady part. I had left the office, I was wearing a suit as per usual. I stop at Target to get some stuff. It is not that busy and there are people who obviously work their stocking things. I'm in the area with the cheese, with a basket in my hand. Some woman randomly comes up to me, "Do you like the store brand cheese?" I had some in hand deciding between different flavors. It's okay, I guess. I throw it into my basket and begin to turn away, thinking this unnecessary interaction is over. "Well, I think they have moved stuff around since the last time I was here. Could you show me where X food item is?" I say, X item, because I had stopped listening at that point. Once she started with the, "since the last time," I knew she was gonna ask me where some crap was. "Lady, there are several people around who clearly work here," I explain. "How should I know where that is?" I turn and walk away, but feel like she is glaring into the back of my head. The nearest aisle is only a few steps away, so I make a wide turn down it so I can see if this is correct. Sure enough, as I glance back, she is staring at me with a pissed, surprised look on her face. I was able to get away before she started going Karen or something. She was in business casual stuff, I think, so hopefully intelligent and observant enough to know I didn't work there, and looked around my age, millennial. People sometimes say our age cohort is entitled. I have only witnessed a few cases of millennial entitlement, but I couldn't believe this person thought I should help them find something. Come on lady, use your feet to walk the aisles and eyes to look for what you want. Don't rely on strangers. I barely ever ask people that work at a store where things are. They have more important stuff to do than waste time pointing me to crap. I would never even think to ask some stranger. How entitled do you need to be to ask some random guy to help you look for something? Even if there had not been several employees in the vicinity, the food area is not that big. Walk around and use your eyes please. It's like, "Hello, I don't work here lady. I am just as clueless as you are when it comes to where coffee or whatever it was she wanted is." Sorry for the rant, but asking strangers to help you find something in a store reeks of learned helplessness or something. The next story is titled I Still Tried to Help. The nature of my job is such that a restroom is a scarce commodity. I fill in on driving routes when someone else is absent. Mostly small residential deliveries, some heavier items and or commercial customers. Basically I don't know most areas well enough to say, "Oh, there's a great restroom in 5 more stops." Yellow van, bright red uniform polo shirt with yellow shoulders and sleeves, 95% international shipments, maybe you get the idea. Well, on such an unknown route yesterday, it was time. First place that came to mind was Wally World. They're pretty much everywhere in my neck of the woods. Just 5 minutes from my then current location in fact. Might even say they're known for their blue vests and clearly visible name tags. Business finished, I had a few minutes before my next pickup deadline around the corner. So I went for a look at sporting goods and automotive supplies, even neck pillows. Anything I could purchase and jam in my cooler, so as to avoid scrutiny upon return to my station, as the company calls it. Just where I punch in and out and we sort some freight. On my way to socks, a woman stops me in my bright red and yellow shirt and asks where our dog food and pet supplies are. Now ever since joining this sub I've dreamed of being able to tell a tale worthy of your views, and I'm not sure this is it, but I look her in the eye, tilt my head down to the company name on my shirt, repeat a few times. She's still just looking blankly at me, waiting for an answer. I finally respond, I don't know. Where do you keep the socks? And this is where it gets boring. She said, oh, you don't work here, and kept it pushing. Since she realized her mistake pretty quickly, and having been through half the store on my way from restroom to socks, clockwise, I called to her and gestured to the other half of the store as I'd not seen any pet items in my travels. Unfortunately, she'd already reverted to NPC and I watched her turn toward sporting goods. I hope she got the dog some toys. The next story is titled EP Trespassed onto our property and tried to sue. So this was a while back and some of the details are a little foggy, but the main details I remember well. Now, I wasn't the most involved in the conflict either, but I still got pretty pissed. Cast. Me, EP, my mom, my oldest brother, and 2 of my dogs. Now, my dad is a lot into security, and we had clear signs that said no trespassing. So one day my oldest brother came back home from the military. He usually only gets to come around once a year and he got home with his big truck. Now, I live in a semi-rural area, so we have a lot of area and can let our dogs roam freely outside. With an invisible fence so they don't go over the boundaries. Anyway, my brother had to park, but our main driveway was filled so he parked on the side of our driveway in the grass, which was still on our property. After being parked and a week later, he had to leave again, so he took his truck and left. But he left the yard a surprise. There were huge tire tracks that dug into the mud, making the yard look kinda messy. Even though it was on our property, our neighbor, the EP, stormed over, and was going to complain about how the tire tracks were on her side of the yard. Surprise, surprise. They didn't. When she was storming over, our dogs were outside, and one of them bit her. We didn't know this until after the whole thing went down. But she actually was kicking at our dogs. Anyway, she got bit in the ankle. It wasn't even severely injured or broken, and she started banging on our door. My mom was the one who got to the door, and she had to deal with her and her BS she was saying. Sadly, I don't know what she said, but from what my mom said at the time. Anyway, the story starts getting more foggy from here, but from what I remember, the EP tried to sue for $25,000, and tried to get the dog taken from us. At the end of the day, she lost. She didn't get anything, and our dog didn't get taken. The next story is titled Hey, you don't work here. Want a job? This didn't happen to me, but it was relayed to me by the manager. There was a locally owned hardware store close to where I was working. This place had the most amazing selection of fasteners, nuts, bolts, screws, etc. Down to M2 Allen screws, the kind of stuff you'd never find at a big box. Everything was always in its place. You would never see a bag of M3X5 screws in the M3X8 slot. It was heaven for a tinkerer like me. One evening I complimented the manager on how immaculate the section always was, and she started laughing. She tells me that it used to be a mess, but one day everything was in the right spots, but none of the employees would take credit. They all hated having organized the section. I can't blame them. And everyone was confused. They started joking about being visited by the Bolt Fairy. A couple days later she notices a teen boy intently looking through one of the drawers, then he moves a few bags around and closes it. She realized she was witnessing the Bolt Fairy in action. He notices he's being watched. He muttered a timid, "I'm sorry," and turns to leave. The manager stops him and says, "Don't be sorry, but I can't have you working here, unless you work here. Can you come back later with your mom or dad?" He mutters a shy, "Okay," and leaves. About an hour later he comes back with his mom. The mom was looking apprehensive and apologetic. The teen looked like he knew he was about to be in big trouble. The mom explained that her son was autistic, and loved organizing things. He wouldn't get stressed about things that were disorganized, but just enjoyed sorting stuff. The manager explained that for insurance, legal and moral reasons he couldn't work in the store, unless he worked for the store. The mom said that it wouldn't happen again, and the teen's eyes started to water. That's when the manager pulled out an application and a uniform polo and asks what hours he wanted to be scheduled. The mom just started laughing and the boy exploded into tears of joy. I found out later that he worked there for about 2 years, until his family had to move across the country. When he put in his notice, the owner found out where they were moving, went online and found another locally owned hardware store with good reviews, contacted them and gave a glowing recommendation. The next story is titled Dark Outfit equals Hot Topic Employee 100%. Yesterday I, 18M, was looking around a mall with a few friends, and decided to go around on my own for a little bit. As I was browsing a few of the stores, I entered my favorite one. Hot topic. While inside, I was looking at the different types of goth styles in there when suddenly, a finger tapped me on the shoulder. It was a middle-aged lady, maybe 32, looking rather annoyed and impatient. She said she had been trying to wave me over for over 15 minutes. Mind you, I had only been in there for about 7, and that she needed to find a shirt for her daughter's birthday. I looked at her up and down, and she could tell I looked confused. She then snapped at me, asking me if I was stupid or deaf, and to hurry up and help her. I then looked at her in the face, and calmly said, "Ma'am, I don't work here. Sorry." After telling her that, she looked absolutely furious, and started yelling at me about how stupid of an employee I was, and how I couldn't trick her into not helping her because I was so lazy that I didn't want to do my job. After her yelling at me for about 2 minutes, while I stood there and didn't know what to say, an actual employee came over and asked what the issue was. The Karen, looking rather impatient, told the other employee that they needed to fire me, as I was the dumbest person on the planet, and a no-good slacker. After looking me over, she looked at the Karen and said, "Sorry, but he doesn't work here." After hearing that, she looked back over at me, and took a closer look, now realizing I had no name tag on, and a shocked look overcame her. She then turned heel and speed walked out of the store, with the employee and I just standing there, not knowing what to say. After all was said and done, she looked at me and just shrugged, going back to the counter where she was standing before. I bought some clothes and left. Honestly, I can understand why she thought I was a Hot Topic employee. I was wearing a black tee, dark jeans, glasses, piercings, and had hand socks on as well. The next story is titled "Nobody Works Here, Lady," most especially not the moose. My friends went hiking in the woods recently. They parked at the unmanned trailhead where another car was already parked. As they got out of their car, a woman started walking rapidly toward them demanding, "Where are the moose? There are supposed to be moose." I looked it up on the internet. As if my friends, as locals, somehow responsible for stalking the woods and can tell her the moose public appearance schedule. One of them tried to explain to this crazy person that moose don't often lounge around out in the open, especially not this time of year. It is the rut and start of hunting season. He suggested that if she just wanted to get a sense of the size of the beasts, she should check with the local game warden and maybe see a fresh kill. She finally marched back to her car, still muttering to herself that there are supposed to be moose, and drove off. My friends stood there in stunned silence for a moment and then burst out laughing before starting their hike. I'm told it was a gorgeous day, and they couldn't help but feel sorry for this strange lady who couldn't appreciate the natural beauty around her because she can't grasp the difference between a petting zoo and an area of natural habitation. The next story is titled "A Man Jabbed Me in the Chest with His Finger at Costco." I had just gotten off an 11-hour shift and needed to get some groceries after work. I picked up my boyfriend on the way to Costco and away we went. We got most of the things we needed and were waiting in line. I don't know about all Costco stores, but in my city it is busy all the time. The lineups are massive. The cashiers are very quick though. I'm standing in line with my boyfriend when I remember I needed to get dry shampoo, and Costco is the only place that sells 3 cans of it for $20. It's an awesome deal, and for someone that works early shifts like me, it's a lifesaver. I didn't bring my purse inside and had my keys in my hand, so I just put them around my neck with the lanyard and told my boyfriend I'd be right back. I was wearing black pants, a black top, and a Pikachu lanyard around my neck. Costco employees don't necessarily have a uniform. I'm pretty sure they can wear whatever they want as long as they have a name tag. I'm walking towards the checkouts holding my dry shampoo and a man walks directly in front of me, stopping. I did a classic Canadian smile and, "Oh, sorry," and tried to get around him, but he stepped to the side and got back in front of me. Road equals rude dude. Road. Can you tell me where the large jars of pickles are? Me. No, sorry. I'm really not sure. Road. What do you mean you're not sure? Where are they? He raised his voice and I was immediately in defense mode. Me. Wanting to get out of the situation as fast as possible. I don't work here, I don't know where they are. I'm sorry. I tried to get around him and he stepped in front of me again. Road. Who is your manager? This is when he poked the center of my chest with his sausage finger. I immediately stepped back and gave him the dirtiest look I could give to anyone. Road. I need to talk to your manager now. Where is he? You are very rude. Me. My manager's name is John and I highly doubt he would give a crap if I helped you find something or not at Costco because I don't work here. Get the duck out of my way. I managed to get around road and he shouted at me to come back over to him. Excuse me? WHO are you? Thankfully he didn't follow me, and I couldn't see him anymore after wading through the sea of people. I finally got back to my boyfriend in line and told him what happened as we got back to the checkout, and the cashiers thought it was hilarious. I'll admit, I wish I didn't curse at him in public, but I was feeling a fight or flight response and he wouldn't let me pass. Not my finest moment, but definitely not his either. The next story is titled A Karen Insisting I'm Her Lyft Driver. For context, I've been a Lyft driver for 4 years but haven't since COVID started. I don't have my amp in the window, but I still have the sticker on the car. I have an online order for pickup at Walmart for supplies for the incoming hurricane. So I'm driving into the parking lot and am searching for the pickup parking spots. I drive by the exit door, looking for these spots, when I see a woman eyeing my car as she walks out of the store. At the same time, a car attempts to pull out and nearly hits me, but doesn't. As I start to move forward to continue my search, the woman stands next to my car, yelling, and pointing at my car, then her saying, "You're looking for me." I vigorously shake my head no, pull away, and continue my search. After I found a cart guy in the parking lot, he told me they were back the way I came. Crap. So, I drive back the way I came and I can see the same woman standing by the exit, glaring at my car. I avoid eye contact and finally find the pickup parking. I pull up and wait, eating a bit of my dinner while I do so. As I'm eating my mac and cheese, I hear someone angrily yell, "Are you not a Lyft driver?" From my passenger side. The same woman had walked 5 rows from the exit to track me down. She begins yelling and gesturing at my sticker and asking, "Why aren't you picking me up?" I felt at this point, ignoring her would be less than ideal, so I rolled down my passenger window just enough. I looked her in the eye and said calmly, "Ma'am, I'm not working right now." She throws her hands in the air, looks around wildly, and says, "Give me a ride." I told her I am not her Lyft driver and suggested she contact her driver through the app. She yells, "Well, ducking great. Where's my Lyft driver then?" I just quickly rolled the window back up as she stormed away. I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, but please double check your app with the Lyft, Uber you're getting into. And don't stalk down strangers in their cars. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.